Severe and Benning in the morning on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and the 1620 The Zone app. Here are Michael Severe and Ravi Lula.
One team to the next. We know what it means to be a black shirt, to play for something greater than ourselves, to live up to the legacy of those before us, to make them proud, to create our own legacy. This is our tradition.
Okay, so our number 2 on Severe and Benning in the morning, Ravi Lula sitting in for Damon Benning. Maybe Nebraska isn't national championship team-worthy caliber.
I think that's
on the field.
I think that's fair.
On the field. But in the videotape room, in the production room,
the hype tapes,
yeah. By the way, Japan's up 1-0 after scoring a run just now against USA in the fourth. They are by far national championship caliber. They're just really good at editing. They're really good at voiceovers. They're really good at adding the music. The people that are at Husker Vision are really top-notch at doing this stuff. It's just great.
Yeah, the hype videos are always awesome.
They're so good.
They do a great job. I have no arguments there whatsoever.
That's the Black Shirt one that was voiced over. That's Will Compton, former Black Shirt, doing the voiceover there. It's just well, and even some of the stuff in the background with Greg Sharp, some of that in there, or some of the older calls, and just the photos of the guys, and it gets you hyped up. I'm hyped. I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's do this.
Go hit somebody.
Go do something. Black shirts. One of the funniest things I've ever
throw
experienced.
those bones.
One of the funniest things I've ever experienced. So I'm on our honeymoon, and we're in the Dominican Republic. And if you ever go to those islands, a lot of times you will run into people from the UK, from Europe, because they have a month vacation.
Yeah.
And so they'll go to a place like that, and they'll just stay, right?
Sure.
And so we're there, and I'm actually standing in the pool next to where they're serving drinks and appetizers. I'm just kind of hanging out there. And one of the guys walks over to me. He's like, "Oh, where you guys from?" And I think he was either Australian or he was New Zealand or something like that. And he says, I told him I'm from Nebraska, right? He said, "Oh, I got questions."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Okay, shoot." He goes, "First of all, why do Americans like guns so much?" So first thing he asked me, I said, "Well, I was in the military. We do have a real basis of freedom here." And I just kind of try to explain that, when you look back at what happened in the Revolutionary War and then also you have places like Montana where they truly believe that eventually we're going to have to revolt against our own government, and they want to be able to be prepared for it. I'm explaining that and everything. And the guy's like, "That's very weird." I was like, "Fine." And he goes, "What is the deal with how you guys treat your minorities?" He's like, "What is the deal with the way racism is portrayed, at least from what I see and where he's watching on television?" And I said, "Well, that obviously goes back to," and I tried to explain what happened after the Civil War and how we were going in the right direction with Reconstruction.
Right.
But everything got screwed up because you had the election of
1876, I believe.
60, it goes, 64, 68, 72, 76.
Yeah.
1876, where Reconstruction ended and all of a sudden things fell apart and we had another 100 years of repression in the South. I tried to explain all that. And then the third thing he asked me, after going through what I think he thought were the biggest problems.
Sure.
He goes, "Explain to me this whole black shirt thing." And I was like, "You mean like Nebraska's defense?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, sure, I'll tell you. There was a coach who wanted to separate the teams in practice, and he went to the local sporting goods store, and the only other jersey color they had outside of the red and white was black. They gave the black shirts to the starters." He said, "You guys realize, right, that the Nazi soldiers were black shirts?" And I went, "No, I did not." So apparently there are people across this world who, when they see Nebraska portrayed as the black shirts, think of that, opposed to Ndamukong Suh and Jason Peter.
So like the way we would call the British the redcoats, they called the Nazis the black shirts?
Yes, I did not know about this.
Well, that's not ideal.
No, it's not at all ideal. Because you know how sometimes when it's hashtag GBR, during certain times of the year, it's Great Britain opposed to
during international events.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So that happens. Well, I guess when we hashtag black shirts, there are some people going, "Wait a minute. What the hell's going on in Nebraska?" Again, I did not know. Those are the three questions. Me standing in this little wading pool in my honeymoon, listening to this guy talk. It was
news to me.
It was news to me. Since I have Googled it, and there are. If you Google, it's funny. If you Google now, it won't work for me right now because I've obviously searched black shirts involving Nebraska.
Sure.
No, it comes up still. Look at it right there. Yep.
Google it.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, wow.
Any member of the armed squads and Italian fascists under Benito Mussolini. Okay, it wasn't the German Nazis. It was the fascists in Italy.
Yeah, it was.
They wore black shirts as part of their uniforms.
Axis powers, right?
Yes. We were the
allies.
They were allies in the Axis.
Yeah, so the Axis powers.
It was the voluntary militia for national security, commonly called the Black Shirts or Squadrillas, originally known as a paramilitary wing of the National Fascist Party. Basically, after 1923, the all-volunteer militia protected the Kingdom of Italy. They were the Black Shirts. So that's the guy asked me about.
That's slightly better than being straight-up Nazis.
Yep. Just fascists.
Still not great. Not great.
Not great. Not great to be compared to. But again, that's not what I thought of the
I had no idea. This is news to me.
Yes. I actually, so I've interviewed, oh my God, his last name's leaving me. The first black shirt, it's Michael.
Google it.
He recently got into the Nebraska Hall of Fame. Well, recently, it was probably 10 years ago. But he's considered the first black shirt because he went with the coach to the store. Essentially,
okay. Yeah.
And then came back with the shirts, and then he was one of the first ones to wear the black shirts. And so he's considered that. It's in that book, 100 Things You Need to Know About Nebraska.
Oh, nice.
You know that book?
Yeah.
And it's in there talking about him. God, trying to tip my tongue. But anyway, that's what I think about. I don't think about the fascist party out of Italy.
I probably will now.
No, sorry about that. My fault.
You kind of ruined that for me there, Michael.
My fault. Aaron Rodgers coming back to the Packers. The funniest thing about the whole thing is the initial report from Adam Schefter read, and I'm going to go to the part where he says he has indicated to people close to him that he does plan to play for Green Bay this season. Okay? People close to him. Then, right after that, you had one of the guys who was close to him, in Brian Bulaga, tweet out, apparently we're not as close as I thought we were. Oh, no, sorry, it wasn't Bulaga. It's
Bakhtiari.
Bakhtiari says he's up. He says, apparently I'm not as close to him as I thought. Oh, wow. Guess we aren't close people. Because he hadn't told him yet he was coming back. Just joking. Then, one of the Pro Football Talk then wrote a story about how Bakhtiari was upset with Aaron Rodgers because he hadn't told him yet. Bakhtiari was just joking on Twitter.
Right, yeah.
They then rate the story. So then he comes back and goes, hey, hold on, chill out now.
We were kidding here.
I was just joking.
Yeah.
I was just playing.
It's like when you hear something on, this happens to Bill Simmons all the time. He'll just be shooting the breeze about the NBA or something, and these blogs or whatever will aggregate.
He loves saying, don't aggregate this.
Yeah, he'll be like, don't aggregate this, because it's happened to him so many times where he'll just be throwing out, just
trade scenarios,
speculative trade scenarios.
Time,
like, what if the Celtics traded Jason Tatum? What would they get?
Yeah.
And then the blog takes it and says, Simmons reporting, Celtics looking to trade Jason Tatum.
Yeah,
it's like, that's not what happened.
Yeah. So Bakhtiari tweeted, wow, guess we aren't close people, putting close people in quotation marks. Then the Football Talk folks put Bakhtiari upset with Rodgers. Packers OT apparently took it personally when he found out, everyone else, that Rodgers reportedly planned to return.
So I just read another tweet
that makes me laugh.
About Rodgers saying that one of the conditions of his return is that they go reacquire Randall Cobb.
From Houston, yeah. Which gives Houston all the power in the world.
Tons of leverage.
In terms of the trade.
Yeah.
He wants Randall Cobb back.
They're going to have to give up way more than Randall Cobb is worth.
Yeah, exactly.
In order
because he wants him back. Yeah. Probably, Randall Cobb was probably getting cut. Probably a good chance. What is he? He's got to be in his 30s now, right? 32, maybe?
31, 32, maybe?
Somewhere in there.
I would guess,
and he certainly has slowed down. It was his third team.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Did he go to Dallas and then go to Houston?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Here's what Bakhtiari came back and said. Chill.
He's 30 on the dot.
39. He goes, chill. I'm not disputing the report. Moreover, I'm disheartened that I'm not considered close people to Aaron. Please keep me in your thoughts and prayers during this time. I will persevere. # brighter days ahead. That was funny.
That's pretty funny.
That made me laugh. Good job, David Bakhtiari.
So Cobb will turn 31 before the season starts. But
okay, so 31 years old for old Randall Cobb, who's taken as a slot receiver a lot of and special teams guy a lot of punishment over the course of his career. He's a lot of big hits.
Didn't he? Am I thinking of the right guy here? Didn't he basically become their de facto running back for a year?
No, Ty Montgomery.
Okay.
Yeah,
different wide receiver.
Who ended up with the Saints actually last year and had to start a game because they lost the entire running back core to COVID. That same game I was telling you about where they played Denver and Denver had no quarterbacks?
Yes.
The Saints had no running backs. Ended up having to run Ty Montgomery at running back because he was working out with the wide receiver.
Yeah. A little easier to go without running backs than quarterbacks.
A little bit.
Not
a little bit.
Still not ideal.
Especially against a team that was leading the NFL in sacks.
Right?
Yeah, that would make it a little more difficult. So, again, I don't watch a ton of the Olympics, but it was hard to miss this. Lydia Jacoby, the first Alaskan to win a gold medal in swimming. If you didn't watch the video, now, first thing I saw was folks in Seward celebrating, and I went, Nebraska? No, Seward, Alaska is where she's from. And they were celebrating her winning this first gold medal. And it's an incredible video to watch because these people are going nuts. Not as nuts as that Australian coach did where he was humping the wall, but pretty excited. Here's why. This is why it's so rare.
Yeah.
This is from Darren Ravel, who loves this kind of stuff. There is one swimming pool per every 73,000 people in Alaska.
Jeez.
It's actually 73,856.
So almost 74.
Alaska is dead last in the U.S. in swimming pools per square mile. She did something that no one's ever done in Alaska history by winning a gold medal. Winning a gold medal in the Olympics, coming from a place that basically
has no pools.
It would be like Bennington and tennis. Apparently, there's shortage on tennis courts in Bennington.
Really?
According to a friend of mine. And so it would be like somebody coming out of Bennington and winning a goal in playing tennis based off of the lack of tennis courts or quality tennis courts in Bennington.
That's crazy.
That's a pure shout out to a friend. Right there.
Also, I mean, I don't know if we're staying on Olympics here for a second.
Go ahead, man. By the way, Japan's still up 1-0 in the fifth on the U.S.
We mentioned the Simone Biles thing earlier.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different reports coming out here.
Reports.
So the U.S. gymnastics account says she's dealing with a medical issue, will be assessed daily to determine medical clearance for future competitions. There's been a couple reports, one from Sports Illustrated, one from Inside Gymnastics, which is a Twitter account that has like 65,000 followers, so there's at least some legitimacy there. And one from Dan Wetzel.
Danny.
That are saying it is a mental issue, not an injury. She did appear to tweak an ankle.
It looked like it on that video of the vault.
But it sounds like the larger issue is a mental health issue here. So she apparently is still on the floor with teammates cheering and apparently jumping. I haven't seen it. One of the tweets said she was jumping, cheering along.
Okay.
Her teammates being very vocal. So I would imagine if it's a serious ankle injury, she would not be cheering and probably wouldn't still be on the floor. Would probably be getting treatment already.
Exactly, yeah. So she can come back and be in the individuals.
So to me, that would lend credence to the fact that it might be a mental health issue here.
As of right now, as of 2 minutes ago, the U.S. has a 0.1, so 1/10 lead over Russia in the team competitions. U.S. has hit 2 beam routines. Russia has 2 falls on the beam.
Oof.
So as of right now, a very slight lead for the U.S. against Russia in the team competition in women's gymnastics. Go USA.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Go USA.
When hopefully Simone Biles can be back for the individual events.
Hopefully. I hope so.
No kidding.
She's obviously one of the biggest stars that Team USA has in any sport.
I've never had this, but I'm starting. This is another thing I'm starting. I'm starting watching The Sopranos over.
Okay, yeah. You getting ready for the movie?
The prequel thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, not really. What happened was I was watching a clip, and in the clip, it was a whole bunch of Tony Soprano stuff all mushed together. And I went, I should go back and watch this again. And so I'm starting to watch it. And obviously, Tony had anxiety issues to the point where he would have panic attacks and even pass out. I've never had that, but I've known people
Sure.
that have gotten to the point where they get so worked up that they can't physically perform whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
If it is something like that, it would be so strange because she's gone through so much already and dealt with so many stressful situations before. Why would this be different? She said just yesterday, and Shane brought this up earlier, that she feels like she has the weight of the world on her shoulders, both the United States, the team, and everything. So maybe this is to the point where almost too much pressure's on her.
Well, and honestly, so as someone who does deal with anxiety, I've never passed out or anything.
Yeah.
But, I've been diagnosed and have taken prescriptions for anxiety before. There's usually not a rhyme or reason as to what, when, or where it happens. Some people do have specific triggers in terms of, this will set off anxiety. Like for me, one of my big ones is airplanes. I don't like flying at all.
Or like, sorry to compare this, but Iron Man 3, where Tony, every time he thought back to New York, would have an anxiety.
A lot of times there's a specific traumatic event. It's possible that turning the ankle was kind of a trigger thing. If she's got an injury or an anxiety about injuring herself, it's possible that triggered the anxiety attack. If that's what it is, again, we're kind of piecing together things here. So if it's not that, obviously not trying to project anything on her. But a lot of times, if it's not a specific trigger that exists, sometimes it's just there's no rhyme or reason for it in terms of if you're somebody that has anxiety, they can kind of hit whenever. So that's also a possibility. It might just be, it might not be that, the pressure finally got too much or anything like that. It might just be it hit her today, and it's a really unfortunate timing.
No doubt about that.
Well, the interview with that was referenced to was shown last night on NBC, and she seemed like she was about ready to cry at the end of it. So, I mean, there is obviously a lot of weight and a lot of pressure that she's going through, and hopefully she can get through that.
People were tweeting out quotes from that interview you were talking about this morning about the amount of pressure that she is under. We'll take a break when we come back. 3 things we need to get to. 1, Greg Austin yesterday on Sports Nightly talking about the offensive line and the depth of the offensive line. I thought Evan Bland's story in the World Herald yesterday about comments on NIL by other coaches was very interesting. And 3rd, another great headline from Black Sports Online on Severe and Benny in the Morning.